What is drivetrain loss in automotive performance? Imagine pressing the accelerator and feeling the power you expect from your engine not quite reaching the road. That difference is what we call drivetrain loss. When your engine produces power, it doesn't all make it to the wheels. Instead, some of it gets lost inside the transmission, drive shaft, differential, and axles. This loss happens because of friction, mechanical resistance, and inefficiencies in these parts. Your engine's power is measured at the crankshaft, which is like the engine's output hub. But what actually turns the wheels is the power at the wheels, called wheel horsepower. The difference between these two measurements is the drivetrain loss. For example, if your engine produces 200 horsepower at the crankshaft, the power at the wheels might be around 175 horsepower. That means about 25 horsepower is lost somewhere along the way. Drivetrain loss isn't the same for every vehicle. It depends on the type of drivetrain and transmission. Vehicles with all-wheel drive or automatic transmissions tend to have higher losses because they have more components like extra differentials and fluid-filled parts that create friction. Manual transmissions usually have less loss because they have fewer moving parts and less fluid resistance. The amount of power lost varies with engine speed and how much power the engine is producing. When the engine runs at higher revolutions per minute, the losses tend to increase. For example, at 8,000 RPM, losses can be roughly twice what they are at 4,000 RPM. So, the drivetrain's efficiency changes depending on how hard you're pushing the engine. Typical drivetrain losses for manual rear-wheel drive vehicles are around 10 to 15% of engine power. For all-wheel drive or automatic vehicles, losses can be 15 to 25% or more. High-performance cars with very powerful engines might experience even greater losses because of increased friction and stresses on the drivetrain parts. The main sources of these losses include gear meshing friction, bearing drag fluid resistance in automatic transmissions, and the inertia of rotating parts like drive shafts and differentials. Accessories such as air conditioning compressors and power steering pumps, which are driven by the drivetrain, also add to the overall losses. Understanding drivetrain loss is important for performance tuning and accurate power measurement. When engineers or enthusiasts test a vehicle's power, they need to account for these losses to know how much actual power is reaching the wheels. It also impacts fuel efficiency because more power lost inside the drivetrain means the engine has to work harder to move the vehicle. From a mechanical engineering point of view, reducing drivetrain loss involves designing components with less friction, better lubrication, and more efficient gear systems. This can improve both how fast a vehicle accelerates and how much fuel it uses. In simple terms, drivetrain loss is the power that gets lost inside your car's transmission and drive components due to friction and resistance. It varies depending on the vehicle's design and how hard you're pushing the engine. Knowing about it helps in understanding real-world performance and how to improve it.